Okay, so you may have noticed that I am not exactly of the same generation as the previous speakers, but now, thanks to our moderator, you know the truth. I started a very long time ago with Jacques Delors. And what I can give you today, I will try to give you, is a historic perspective. Where do we come from? And where are we? And what should we do to make it better? So first, where do you come from? When I was around your age, I would say, I went to Rio with Jacques Delors for the signing of the Climate Convention, the Biodiversity Convention, the adoption of the Declaration on Forest, and the adoption of the Rio Declaration on Sustainable Development. And I try to quote it by memory, but the Article 1 of the Rio Declaration is every human being is entitled to a healthy and productive life in harmony with nature. And I think that this is the challenge that we are still facing, a healthy and productive life in harmony with nature. When we came back from Rio, so summer 1992, Jacques Delors asked me to help him prepare the Sustainable Development Agenda for Europe. And if you want to have an idea of what it is, please have a look to his white book on competitiveness, growth, and employment from 1993, and especially to his chapter 10, which is entitled Towards a New Development Model. And you will see there how Jacques Delors tried to reduce our impact on nature, use less natural resources. And you will see that it was 30 years ago, the notion of circular economy is already there. So, such a long time before the Circular Economy Action Plan, you had already in this paper this notion, which is absolutely key to our future. And now I will speak of another episode which I think is very important. In June 2016 came the terrible news of the Brexit. And when I waked up this day of 2016, it's 7 years ago, almost day per day, I thought that the British people had rejected a certain Europe and expressed the wish of a different Europe. And for me, a different Europe, a more sustainable Europe, more respective of social and environmental aspects. And with this idea, I went to Pascal Lamy and I went to Jacques Delors, and they supported the idea. And then I went to NGOs. I was heading WWF European office at that time, and they supported it. And finally, we were more than 200, I think 220 organizations supporting this different Europe, greener and healthier and also fairer. So it was a better Europe for people, planet, prosperity. And I think that this is one of the seeds of the Green Deal. And this has been confirmed in a speech by Mr. Selmayr himself. But I think that the most important seed of the Green Deal is the 1919 European elections. The young people mobilized themselves for a different Europe. They mobilized themselves for Europe really fighting climate change. And it is because of them that all the political parties, one after the other, before the election, adhered to the objective of climate neutrality by 2050. And I think that it is thanks to the mobilization of these young people. Well, the rate of vote to the European election in 2019 by the young population raised by 14%, and they made the difference. So that's how we got the Green Deal. So where are we now, and what should we do more? A lot has been done. You know the ETS reform, you know the carbon border adjustment mechanism, you know also the fact that by 2035 it will not be possible to sell combustion cars. You know all of that. But you see also that there are difficulties with some pieces of the Green Deal, especially the nature restoration law and the regulation on the sustainable use of pesticides. So what should we do? I would say five things. First, don't be naive and look at to whom the crime profits and say it and fight. That's the first point. Second point, get the price right. If fossil fuel alternatives, I would say, are still cheaper than alternatives that respect the environment, then we have lost the battle. And what should we do? That there are several possibilities. Gradually cancel fossil fuel subsidies, that's the first point, and introduce a carbon price for agriculture products, like an ETS for agri-food products. And going with the ETS, a CBAM for agri-food products. That's the second point, the price. Third point, we need not only to transform production, but as it has been very well said by the last speaker, we have to transform consumption. And it's a matter of behaviors, which means also a matter of education. So we need to ensure that people know the impact of their consumption on the environment. They should know that they should consume less meat and more cereals or more vegetables. They should know that they should make less waste and how to make less waste, etc. So we need also to address consumption. And finally, my last point is about coherence. We need to reconcile the different aspects of agri-food policies. And one of our proposals at Europe Jacques Delors, which means the Jacques Delors Institute of Brussels, one of our proposals is a vice president for agri-food questions that will be able to reconcile different interests and different policies. That's all. I leave you with that and ready to answer your questions.